Howdy, I'm G Money, and you're going to listen to another episode of Story Time if you want to listen to it. This one's a good one. I used to work for the Delaware State Police as a civilian employee. I had a lot of privileges, I had a lot of trooper friends, so I got to experience a lot of good things. So I'm going to share with you this story. It's kind of a two-part story to a degree. The had a trooper friend. He was a pilot. Name was Dave Clark. In the old days, a lot of times the pilots would just ride solo. Every once in a while, they would have a co-pilot. And then as the years went on, they progressed. They started having medics on board. Some of them were cross-trained to be a pilot and a medic, but they did a lot of more meshing with like a medic and a pilot. So this one night, I get invited to go cruise around at late at night, and we are. This was so beautiful, real nice, clear night, and we're just flying all over the city of Wilmington. We're looking at all the high-rise buildings with the lights, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful night. Very boring night. Nothing big was going on, but anytime you're in the helicopter, it's a good old time. So I forget how long we were up, probably a good hour or so, and we get back to the Newcastle County Airport, and I was up front in the cockpit. Was kind of cool because I didn't get to do that a whole lot, but on this particular time, it was definitely a reward. But and sometimes I would just have like a microphone, earmuffs, and a microphone, and this time I had the headset with all the earpieces and the mic and all that stuff. So when the pilots they go to land their helicopter, they have to let the rotors cool down for like 5 minutes. Has something to do with the bearings or whatever, so it just cools down slowly because I guess it could create a lot of harm to the rotors, what have you. But so while that's going on, I have my headset off, and then I'm getting tapped on the shoulder, and I look at him. He says, "We're going back up. We're going back up." So so I put the headset on, and all of a sudden there's a high-speed chase coming out of Pennsylvania on Route 202, which was Concord Pike. That would come from like Westchester area. I forget what these fellows had done. I think it was armed robbery or something like that. There was quite a few characters in the suspect vehicle. So we get up, and we were going. By the time we were closing in on this pursuit, we were going north in the air above the southbound lanes of I-75, and all of a sudden you see. I kid you not, probably, this was the old days, so you could get away with a lot more in police chases. I'd say there's probably 30 or 40 police cars. You could see it, just lights everywhere. Looked like a rolling Christmas tree going down the interstate. So the pilot, I wish he could give me some kind of notice, but we're flying, and all of a sudden, he whips that thing around. I kid you not, he did the quickest 180. And you talk about all your lower parts and everything going all the way up into your throat. He did that so quick. I don't know what our speed was in the helicopter, but I know it was pretty darn. We were doing a pretty good clip, and it was very dark out at this time. But the helicopters, they had this big old spotlight. I mean, it could light up a cricket trying to take a leak in the woods somewhere. But I mean, this thing was a bright old. But so now they're coming southbound. I don't know how many people know this area of just south of Wilmington, Delaware. As you go southbound, I-95 would kind of veer to the right and stay to the right. I-295 would fork and go to the left, and then it could take you across the Delaware Memorial Bridge into New Jersey. So everybody was praying it didn't go into New Jersey. So next thing I know, the pilot I'm with, he a bunch of our troopers were behind the chase vehicle now because, it's in Delaware State now, so they kind of have to take control. But this was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I've never seen anything like it since. But at that time, they were training all these young troopers who were working to be official troopers. So it was called field training. So they were, every trooper used to ride alone unless you were training another trooper. So there was a bunch of that going on in this particular night. But Dave this Dave Clark, he takes that helicopter, and he hovers real low over that chase vehicle. It had stopped right before it was going to go to 295 towards New Jersey. So he lowered that thing with that big old spotlight on that. You could see everything in the back window. Like we were straight overhead. We weren't really at an angle, but you could see like everything through the front windshield, the back windshield. He was trying to light it up real good for the ground troops. So all of a sudden, all you see is I couldn't really hear it because of the thing, but I know what a shotgun does. But there was like probably 6, 7, 8 troopers plus all the other police cars behind, and they just had a big standoff, and they were finally, with the aid of the helicopter, that pursuit ended real quick because you might outrun a police car. You're not going to outrun a helicopter unless the helicopter runs out of gas. But that was crazy. That was crazy. I mean, like, I was up in the helicopter, like I said, 10 or 12 times over my time. And a lot of times it was a medical transport from one county to a southern county, or sometimes they would transport a nurse with special talents to another hospital, or just a lot of different things. But that was one of the craziest things I had ever seen and experienced in my life. But they fought the law, and the law won. Let that be a lesson to you. Remember, folks, always know your legal limits.